And that's why I think what happened on January 6th wasn't that bad. Oh, shit. Wait, you're not.
Oh, man.
Not yet.
Oh,
No,
man.
no.
Right out the gate. Well, I'll do the silly intro, even though obviously we have to start there. The people need to know, but
he was talking about January 6th, 1987.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
way
a
more
cold
chill.
shot.
Yeah.
I hope nothing bad happened on that day.
Yeah.
if that was like the day of the Challenger.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hello, one and all, and welcome back to another thrilling episode of Off the Dome. I'm your humble interviewer, Jordan Brown, and with me for the very first time is our awesome Abnimals. Say hi, awesome Abnimals. Oh, I was so close.
You almost got it.
Hi, awesome
everybody.
Abnimals.
Hi,
I'm not going to do
awesome
the thing where I
Abnimals.
say it wrong, too, to be a real jag-off.
All right, great. Sorry, I thought, Justin, you were jumping in with something, but that's all right.
Hi.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you guys so much. Obviously, such a huge fan. I do want to apologize because my first question is outside of November, and that feels mean to you. My absolute favorite podcast of all time is Till Death Do Us Blart. Last year, you made some pretty big promises about the 10-year anniversary. Have you given it a single moment's thought until right now?
Okay.
A lot of thought, no action.
Great.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about it.
We do have an email thread with Tim and Guy. It has been a month since their last response, so I look forward to hearing from them soon, I hope.
Amazing. Yeah, it's such every year, such a delight to see that pop up on the various podcatchers to be like, yeah, I got an hour of just the saddest the boys have ever been.
Sometimes. I feel like every other year, it's a pretty good watch. I'm looking forward to it, actually, this year. I feel like we're in for a good crop.
There is a certain guarantee that, statistically speaking, one of the five of us will have hated it every year.
Yeah.
Right? There has yet to be a clean sweep year where everyone was just thoroughly excited to watch.
And
Well, it's not a great
it never
movie.
fails that the whoever liked it that year and whoever disliked it cannot imagine the reverse position. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
when you're in a year where you don't like it, like, you cannot imagine anybody ever liking it, even
Yeah.
if that was you last year.
Last year, 365 days ago.
Incredibly fair. So we're at 10 years of that, which is wild, but also 10 years of Taz, which doesn't feel like that feels like it should have been going on longer than
It is
Death Do Us
actually,
Blart.
Jordan, this is the first time I've contextualized that they've both been running the same. I mean, clearly not the same amount of episodes,
Right.
but that Till Death Do Us Blart and Taz are both 10 years old is wild to me.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah. I'm such a huge fan of Taz. Balance is like what really made me understand D&D. Because before I'd listened to Balance, I thought like the dungeon master has to be the most type A person that's ever existed and has to have every situation planned for. And I was like, oh, it's improv. You say yes and you do because your players are wild monsters and they're going to do wild monster shit. And then like you just do your best. And I was like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, I'm about as far from a type A person that could be. And so if that is the takeaway from Taz Balance that people get, and that opens the door for folks, that feels real nice. It's for us too. Us firmly type B folks. I might even be type C or D, actually, if I think about it too much.
Yeah. That's fair. But we are about to, obviously you just wrapped up Taz versus Dracula. Congratulations on what ended up obviously being a much longer run than you originally expected, but a delightful run. And now we're getting ready for Abnimals. One of my favorite bits, I never expected a like crossover Mabim Bam bit to be so effortless in terms of like, oh yeah, that just makes sense. Like, Celebrity Wine, like probably difficult to like turn into a Taz game, but like, yeah, Abnimals just makes sense. And I know, Travis, you talked about it on the Adventure Zone, that just like it like clicked and you're like, yep, this is mine. I must do it. How excited were you in the moment of like, oh, Abnimals, we're doing this?
It was like something. Oh God, this sounds like I'm making it, but it was like from a movie or like almost like an Agatha Christie like novel, where literally like I gasped and sat, like I was falling asleep, sat up in bed, and like shook my wife awake. I was like, "Honey, Abnimals," and she's like, "Okay," and then she went back to sleep And it was like that, where it just made so much sense and clicked so hard. And like the next day, I said to like Justin Griffin, like one word, Abnimals, and they're like, oh yeah,
We had a meeting the previous day, like brainstorming about what the next season was going to be. That was not particularly fruitful, if memory serves. Like we got to the end of the meeting and weren't feeling like 100% like we got it. And then the next day, Travis just texted one word, Abnimals, and we're like, thank God.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. And obviously a new take on actual play, one without swears in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about for everybody. Someone's probably done it before, but a new take for y'all. I'm curious is it going to be like Candle Nights no swears, where there's got to be like a bleep played over some words, or are you like, is it going to be like, well, we got to go back and take a second run at that because.
It's more the second one so far. So we've had we are really trying to think of like what would not be weird to listen to with your kids in the car. And that's like cursing and like super ultra violence and, just trying to make it something that you can feel, at least comfortable listening to. Hopefully the only thing we're promising is no swears though.
Yes.
Because I can't be responsible for the morality of your kid. That's your problem as a parent.
And I think it's important to know because, man, I don't want to make promises that we can't keep. It's not a season for kids.
Yeah.
We're not making a kids show. We are making a show that that most of the words in it your kids could repeat at school and not get in trouble. That's the only promise kind of that we're making. You know what I mean?
It's less objectionable for kids than it normally is.
Yes.
That doesn't go so great on like a poster.
Right.
Or in like a 30-second like TV spot during, Monday Night Football. But it's basically the best that we can do in terms of promises.
Yeah, a show where I don't have to lunge for my phone to pause it if my 3-year-old walks into the room.
There you go.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I'm sure he's going to love it whenever I figure out how to draw his attention away from Blippi or whatever nightmare he is currently watching. Yeah,
just leave the Blippi on the screen, but play the podcast underneath it.
Yeah,
everybody wins,
and it actually all syncs up.
It syncs up perfectly. We recorded that in mind. Yes.
Sometimes my 7-year-old tells my 3-year-old I'm Blippi. I think just the glasses and just our
I think you meant like hyping you up.
No, like our vibe. Like I have
you're so Blippi right now, man. You don't even know it. You're so Blippi.
I have big. We call him Bloopy. It's the other Blippy, and that sounds mean. I do actually. I do really like Bloopy, but I have sort of big Bloopy energy actually at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm very concerned because my 3-year-old has not figured out that there are two different people who are both Blippi or Mika, and it's
two
like
Bloopies, two Mikas. Yeah,
it's like sometimes they switch like
two
mid-video.
Mikas?
There's two Mikas. Yeah, there's a whole cinematic
Mikas.
Universe.
Yeah, I'm like, bud, you got to get better facial awareness because that's a different person.
We've had
maybe
people ask
your
us,
son's just more of a big picture guy.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
We've had people ask us like why we're doing this season, and I would refer them to the conversation that we just had with you, Jordan, about there being two Blippies and two Mikas, and like we know that we don't talk about that life that much, but that's very much our life. Very much so. Conversations about Blippi and Bloopy and Danny Go and super simple songs, like the whole we're very deep in the child's entertainment zone, so I think that this was somewhat inevitable.
My kids only though, not for kids. We're not making it for children.
My kids only watch Westworld.
It's fair.
Nice.
I mean, I did see the clip online. So, I mean, they have developed the professional swearing that you expect out of like Westworld writing, which just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised, Justin, your kids aren't watching Yellowstone. Do they swear on Yellowstone? Does anyone know?
I've never watched Yellowstone, so I'm not aware.
Yeah.
Sadly.
But Justin only likes the idea of Yellowstone.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Griffin, I'm rooting for you. I know you're head and tuggin.
We're I think I'm gonna have to watch Yellowstone. This job, man.
It's rough.
This job asks too much of us sometimes.
It's basically like working in the coal mines, really.
It's worse than working in the coal mines if you think about it, because they don't have to watch Yellowstone.
They don't. get to enjoy the fine. I don't, Justin, do you have a product at hand, or were you not prepared to pitch?
No, it's a different computer that I do my Yellowstone work on.
Gotcha.
I do not have it handy, sadly.
Yeah, it's very funny. My wife every Tuesday asks me, "Did the boys play today?" So that we can like sit down after our 3-year-old has gone to bed and enjoy whatever madness. And she was so devastated yesterday, and was like, "They did, but the BBC took it down."
Yeah.
But I hear it's back up. So
It is back up.
we've got something to look forward to tonight. We're very excited about. Yeah, she loves a good tug. I'll tell you that.
Jesus Christ.
You've been working on Clubhouse for a long time as well. Where did that? Just absolutely perfect idea come from?
I had wanted to. We had all been talking about how when we stepped away from keeping super close tabs on our social media a few years back, we had less sort of like direct interaction, I think, with listeners, and that was something that we wanted to sort of get back to in like a healthy way. We also, I think, we're wanting to branch out more into video stuff, but also not having done like the reps on it the way we have with audio, where we've made audio so many times for so many years that it's sort of natural to us at this point. And I think we were wanting to like start to practice that. And so Clubhouse sort of suited both needs, because it's where we can sort of like play around with video and like find what makes sense for us there, but also like just kind of hang out. It's all very casual, and everybody who's watching is like in on the joke. I guess they're in on the show. Like it's a real communal project. The best jokes on it are always in chat. Like it's not even close.
Fail.
So,
but there's more of them than there are of us. There's only
That's
3
true.
of us.
So the odds
It's
are
infinite monkeys, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's a really cool way of referring to our fandom.
Don't
Travis.
tell
That's
them I
awesome.
said that. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
awesome.
and honestly, Trav, on a good week, like 1,300 monkeys. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
I would
They'll
kill for
eventually
infinite
write
monkeys
Hamlet.
watching. That's
Oh, boy.
infinite YouTube ad dollars.
Yeah, that's you can retire then.
Even
monkeys.
infinite YouTube ad dollars is like $60.
$60,
Yeah.
so it's a clean 60. Get yourself a
Yeah.
brand new AAA video game.
Oh yeah, I obviously like 6 thumbs, 3 hearts, can't lose was a delightful series. It was super fun to watch that transition into Clubhouse, and did feel like a very natural like, oh, they've been like really crushing this very silly space. And now like to get to expand into other games and not always just having to play what seemed like the most frustrating experiences of your life. How would you rate like Donkey Kong 2, I think is the worst one?
Did
When
he
you
bounce
bounce
off
into-
No, I mean that wasn't the hardest one. The hardest probably one that we played was probably Celeste. Celeste is a game
was not hard. You are
Yeah, you're misremembering. Because Celeste got harder.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country 2 is just kind of crappy. And there's a lot of parts that are crappy to play, and when you do it, it feels bad. And when there's a lot of like random chance that takes place in the game, things not happening the way you expect them to, it makes it really, really, really frustrating to play over and over again with any consistency, because it's weird every time. And it got to a point where some of the levels required like a mechanical collaboration that we simply couldn't like conquer over the speed of light, internet transmissions, neurons firing, like literally just couldn't do. So it got too hard.
Yeah, I would also make a strong case for Crash Bandicoot of there just being certain times where there would just be one level that's like, here's the mechanic that's never been in the game, won't be in the game again, is incredibly difficult to master the way we're playing it, and there's no point in mastering it because we'll never have to use it again.
Yeah.
Almost like the game was not designed to be played that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they should have. That's the secret of game design.
Yeah.
Is you got to be ready for anything.
You got to be ready for 3 different people playing it across 3 different states.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. That just makes sense. I got to see. Obviously, I read the Polygon article about Abnimals. Look, this is just going to be all over the place because I'm not good at this. I'm just in the right places to ask people to come show up. but like I read the Polygon article about Abnimals, and I also saw like obviously the trailer, an incredible theme song. You did not under promise, you over delivered. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So good. I will say, I think, and it appears from everyone in the comments, we all immediately guessed the wrong characters for who you all were playing.
Oh, that's interesting. I did see a lot of whiffs in the comments.
Justin, Axelisle, I think I don't know why everyone was like, that's Griffin, nailed it.
They might have been going just off of visuals. Maybe Axelisle looks more like a Griffin than a Justin. Yeah. I legit don't know. I know it so well that it's impossible for me to have that kind of perspective, you know.
That's fair.
It might be that, and here's my guess. They were going off the fact of nothing. There's no clues except the image and the name.
Yeah.
And so, how could they possibly have gotten it correct?
I mean, my character, Navy SEAL, this season is like the big, strong, burly archetype, and I don't think that's sort of usually what people maybe associate my brand with.
Yeah.
And so I think that they thought Griffin can't be the strong one.
I also saw some guesses, though, in the comments about which of the characters I was playing, which made me think that maybe they were coming from a less than zero, like, information.
Right.
Kind of, maybe an information deficit that would have made it really hard to guess.
That would make it much harder if you introduced a fourth person to guess 3 characters. Speaking of Navy SEAL, Griffin, now 2 times Stolen Valor, your little sailor outfit, and now Navy SEAL, who is very explicitly not a member of the Navy SEAls.
So you actually may not know this. You can't steal the same Valor twice.
Oh, okay. It's double jeopardy.
I stole Navy Valor when I wore a sailor costume for a whole year of tours that ended up being apparently like crazy accurate. And so I figured, like, I already stole Navy Valor. It doesn't matter if I do it again.
Yeah, I was at the when you were here for Moon Tower. I live in Austin, Texas. I was at that show and was very excited because I took video at the right moment, which was when you all were talking about the poster, which, if you recall, Justin was teeny tiny on it, and everyone else was sort of normal sized. And then the podcast came out and was like, I have the best video to share with everyone who wasn't there. And people were very excited to see the visual because no one thought that it was as bad as it was.
Yeah. That little Justin from the TV show poster. Yes.
Yeah. Where did Navy SEAL then come from? And then Justin, same question, but obviously Axelisle.
I was the last one to come up with my character this season. I just thought it was a funny idea. The idea of a super strong animal hero in a Saturday morning cartoon that people don't really talk about anymore because of Stolen Valor. That's about as far as the idea got. I like seals in general. I just kind of think they're neat. I very much worked my way backwards into Navy SEAL, which is honestly, I think, okay, because I think the alternative is like overdoing it, over preparing, over deciding things about them. I basically had the one joke, and I was like, I can do a character based on that, and that's what I've been doing. So,
I love it, Justin. Axelisle.
Axolotls are huge with kids right now, so it definitely was wanting to go in for the branding. The toyetics are off the mark. They are off the charts. So that was a big part of it. I pushed really hard for the design of Axelisle to have a axolotl face, because I noticed in almost all the Abnimals they end up with a human face. And I wanted to be really clear that this is an axolotl. They're also just kind of like really cool animals.
They're weird little creeps.
They're weird. They're like only found in one spot on the planet, and everybody loves them. And they are the only amphibians that don't evolve. So I thought that was or metamorphosized more, you know. So I thought that was really interesting. And yeah, combining those two, I do not know why I thought about extreme firefighters. I don't remember anymore. I just sort of like, it sounds so nonsensical to be like, it just comes to me, but it's basically in the same way that you realize you have to fart and no one asks you where it came from, you know?
Yeah.
Same deal.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Travis, I guess I'll throw you the third character. Is Roger Moore your dad's favorite James Bond?
Yeah, I think he is.
It feels like it would be, right?
That rings true to me. We talk about James Bond a lot, more than most, I think, and I can say fairly confidently it is. But I will also say the name was the last thing to come with Roger. If he had the idea,
Dad might have told you that. I don't believe it for a second, man.
I came up he pitched like a couple other names.
It is because I came up with the name for him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Really?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's fine.
He had a couple other names, and none of them were really clicking. But I think he liked the idea of a like bull in a china shop, like turn it on its head. A guy who's very graceful and like a dancer and everything. And then we, because I think I had already pitched the Barnyard All Stars as like, here are some of the groups that exist in this world and everything. And then he was like, I want to be like a bull, but the sport is competitive dancing. And so like that in and of itself made it separated out from the different things. Because that was one of the things we talked about when we were first planning the characters was, why aren't they on the teams that they started out on anymore? So each of them needed a thing, and like Navy SEAL, the issues with like PR and stolen valor. And
it actually is. That's so funny.
And there's issues with Exelisle and like the Metamorphos and them not like evolving up the same way that the other ones do. And with Roger, it's like that the other ones are kind of meathead jocks, and he was a much more like kind of refined, gentle kind of guy, and just didn't get along with them. And that was kind of
so it's got a lot of heart this season.
A lot of heart.
It's got a lot of depth. Just a heads up, I'm gonna need to run in like 5 minutes to pick up my my son from daycare. I didn't know if I saw that this was going for an hour in the calendar, but I didn't know if that was the plan or not.
I mean, it was the plan, but plans change, and that's fine.
It was at an hour. I'm sorry, I have to pick up my kids too. I apologize. I did not realize we were slated for an hour. I'm so sorry. I thought
I was trying to pick up Justin's kids.
No.
No.
Well, then I'll make the most of the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I apologize. I should have said something earlier.
No worries. So Travis, this season, I think more than any other season, it will make sense for there to be a cartoonish cat merchant. It was that like, did you want to? I haven't heard anything, so I don't know if it's in it. How excited were you, or how much against hype were you ready for that?
It hasn't been revealed to them yet, but when I figured out what it was going to be, it made me very happy.
Oh shit, man! I didn't even think about it, dude. I forget about it. This is one running gag for the show. I forget about every time until it's deployed. I swear to Christ, it is not the. It is it. Did I do one? Yeah, I did one in Taz vs. Dracula. Okay, yeah. It's never like a big element of the season. It's always just one joke, and I always forget about it.
I mean,
I almost did, and then it clicked.
I mean, a decade of that joke, Griffin. You got to keep it going.
Yeah, joke is so generous there.
Most jokes I found just get better and better after you tell them a million billion times.
Yeah,
over the
I would
course
say
of
it's
10
more
years.
like a running albatross.
Yeah,
you know, like there's a certain like, well, gotta figure this out now.
Yeah. And that's the intro to this dumb little show that I do, whatever you call it, has just become a how fast can I do it, and without messing up. And it turns out Abnimals is the one that's really going to get me. So
try typing it out a lot in Google Docs.
Yeah,
not wild about it.
Google Docs does not like
autocorrect
the name of it.
every time is like, are you sure? Like, I told you, it's the name of my show. Stop picking on me.
Oh man. Really quickly then, obviously the system that you're using, Travis, you came up with, abs and animals, the various skills, obviously the two important skills that you can have, and it's a D8 based system.
Yeah, so I wanted something that had room to kind of maneuver around, and as you get better at it, you get more dice and everything. I didn't invent the wheel on that one, but I wanted it to be flexible enough that you never felt like oh, I want to try this thing. And you're like, okay, what would that be? Well, I don't have a skill for that, so I can't do it. So basically you can attempt anything. There's just some things you're better at. And then with progression, you get stronger things. And then you have to choose if you're putting that into your animal training or into your abs training, which is like learned skills versus inherent like species-based stuff. But mostly I wanted something that just felt so open of like what the players could attempt and what kind of stuff they could do to feel like, you know, the Ninja Turtles and the Biker Mice and like trying out weird stuff and that kind of thing.
Oh man, Justin and Griffin, how was it playing in the abs and animals space? Obviously, probably pretty similar to Chaos and Order. Those are the dad pulls, right?
It has
lasers
big...
and like it just like it's two things you choose.
Sort of. I mean, there's definitely more to it than that. That is sort of just like the jumping off point, I think, for the system. I mean, it is so I would say light as far as rules go. It's quite uncrunchy. And so
yes.
I think that is sort of ideal for this.
We haven't described it as uncrunchy yet, or smooth.
It's creamy. What some people would say.
Creamy.
It is. We're figuring it out. I think we're 5 episodes in now that we've recorded, and it. I think that it has come together to be kind of like just what the doctor ordered. So
amazing. Look, this has been so much fun. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will say I had an unopened can here, and as a coward, I didn't open it the moment Justin started talking. But like, I do want you to know, like, I was ready to do that as soon as. Yeah, I was like, God, if the joke doesn't land, I have just blown the rest of the time I am with them. But this is so delightful. I recently interviewed Haley Whipjack, and they told me that they introduced people to you, Travis, for the first time, which is also mind-blowing. So let's say somehow someone is watching this and they don't know where to find your stuff. Where can they find you guys?
McElroyFamily.com. is the URL. No, you always do this. McElroyFamily.com is going to get you there.
It will get you there.
It'll get you there. They like McElroy.family, but I'm a .com man from way back. So McElroyFamily.com. McElroy.family will also get you there.
I don't know. Actually, it's not loading.
McElroy.family is your number one source for all, your number one and only URL for all the latest and greatest.
Why is our website not freaking loading, guys?
What did you do?
An amazing note to go out on.
The McElroy.family also works. We've got a lot of different ones, but the McElroy.family.
McElroy.com. I have plenty of links there to get back to our stuff.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much. I can't wait to listen to Abnimals. What a delight.
Thank you.
And I don't know how to end an interview, so I'm just going to hit stop recording.
All right.
All right.